documenting the collapse of life as we know it, as perpetrated by the global military-industrial complex. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Ronald Show, Ronald.
What if a government intelligence analyst from the Pentagon is forced to save mankind from extinction and the world from destruction, but first he must evolve into the Messiah and create the plan to save the world? The 21st century Messiah arrives, battles dark forces, and sparks the Armageddon that leads to the apocalypse, rapture, the 2012 pole shift, and extraterrestrial contact. Buy the book today by Ronald Farnham at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The Second Coming of the Messiah, Book 1, The Awakening.
The human race will die.
Oh, really?
The first commandment is to maintain a global population under 500 million. Do you know what that means?
It means 6.5 billion people are going to die at the hands of the Illuminati unless we stop the Iranians from detonating that dirty nuclear bomb at the Hollywood and Vine train station.
The Iranian suicide bomber cell is located at the Vibe Hotel on Hollywood Boulevard.
This isn't Scooby-Doo.
Please!
A little blood drink and turned your stomach?
Guide them through the bomb. What is this, fucking Batman and Robin?
I had become part of something that I no longer felt right about serving.
It's Hollywood and Vine, not Vine Hollywood. Don't you know anything about American culture, you silly Russian?
The global military-industrial complex.
Leading the charge of the carnal feminine.
Ah, yes. The Messiah.
My book. It's the solution.
How is that the way the world is?
Traitor, who are you working for?
If I was cartoon character, I'd be Woody Woodpecker.
This land is your land. This land is my land. From the Gulf Stream waters to the New York Island, this land was made for you and me.
Hello, welcome to the Ronald Show. You got to see this. Today is July something. I think what's today's date, Roy? I think it's like it's the 5th. Anyway, look at this. You cannot get colors like this out of a bottle. That is pure, beautiful colors right there. That's beet, carrot, cucumber. red peppers, yellow. It's this stuff. Juicing right now. Filling up that pitcher. Alright. See that? Look at that. That's going to go in me body. I'm mixing it all together. Alright. Thanks for watching the Ronald Show. Peace. Your love is lifted. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Ronald Show, documenting the collapse of life as we know it as perpetrated by the global military-industrial complex and teaching you to be a creditor in commerce. Today is Wednesday, July 3rd, 2013. It's the day before Independence Day, and while we're talking about independence, I'm coming to you today to celebrate the 4th of July a little early. I won't be able to celebrate with you tomorrow on video because I'll be partying and I'll be at a party and I'll be unfit to be on camera. So what I want to do is talk to you today about a couple of things. One is going to be the ingredients in Coca-Cola and the state of the world with regards to sugar and high fructose corn syrup. But I want to talk to you about this right here. This is the Independent Thinkers Income Tax Sheet. Right there. The Independent Thinkers Income Tax Sheet. This has information. I didn't print this up. So I'm sure if you do the Independent Thinkers Income Tax Fact Sheet, you'll be able to find it and order one. But I'm going to read it out to you so that you don't have to. And if you want, you can write this stuff down. The Income Tax Fact Sheet, distributed by the Independent Thinkers. Each year, millions of Americans report their earnings to the IRS, allowing a significant portion of their wealth to be claimed by the government. Yet the law itself stipulates that tax is only to be paid on a certain kind of income, a truth about which most Americans remain blissfully unaware. Is ignorance really bliss, or where there is ignorance lies bliss? I don't know what the actual quote is. I'll find it and I'll put it right there. So, a truth about which Americans remain blissfully unaware, which is that basically you're only supposed to pay a certain kind of income. Here are 10 facts you really need to know. Number 1, the income tax is an excise tax, not a direct tax. It applies only to revenue in which the federal government has a direct ownership interest. Now, under your Social Security number, your Social Security identification, that is the ownership interest. They own your vessel. Remember, when you're born, your parents fill out their certificate of live birth paperwork, and then they send that off to the government. And the federal government takes ownership over your body. That's why you can be arrested. And then you get issued a birth certificate, and a trust is created out of your identity. So the federal government has direct ownership interest in your vessel. They use you as a commodity to pass through their system when they haul you off to jail, to pay a debt to society. Society in all capital letters. Society. Number 2, what is called income by the Internal Revenue Code is not money or receipts or earnings. It is defined as receipts resulting from the exercise of federal privilege. Are you doing business with, or are you paid by the federal government? Well, the federal government... See, federal privilege is something that you can learn really by going to creditorsincommerce.com. Maybe I should be going this way. I don't know. There you go, creditorsincommerce.com. Listen to the Temple audio series starting at, I believe, 2009. It will teach you the way the law is structured and what it means by federal privilege. Remember, as a creditor in commerce, you are taking advantage of certain privileges by being a creditor in commerce, or a debtor in commerce, really. It comes with your identification, your corporate fiction that's created, that allows you to go benefit from the privilege of doing commerce out in commerce. When you go to the store and you take the debt instrument, the dollar bill, which really represents a dollar owed, and you buy something, it's a privilege to be able to do business back and forth with other citizens, or I guess, what are they calling it? Basically, you're a citizen, which is all capital letters, and your human vessel is just representing a corporate fiction that has been established to operate with the fiat money system that has been put into place. Everything is monopoly money. So let me repeat number 2. What is called income by the Internal Revenue Code is not money or receipts or earnings. It is defined as the receipts resulting from the exercise of federal privilege. Are you doing business with, or are you paid by the federal government? I used to be paid by the federal government when I was a counterterrorism analyst and an intelligence analyst and a data manager at the Headquarters Special Operations Command for the Special Operations Joint Interagency Collaboration Center, a centralized intelligence database that processes classified information collected from all over the world so that Pentagon analysts can utilize it in order to conduct operations against you. Number 3. The income tax was instituted in 1962. The 16th Amendment, 1913, did not expand the scope or definition of taxable income. Until the 1940s, only about 4% of Americans, those who worked for or were involved with the federal government, paid an annual income tax. Number 4, during World War II, the government called for Americans to pay income tax as support for the war effort. Patriotically, a large number of citizens complied. Just because you don't pay or you refuse to pay income tax does not mean that you are not patriotic. In fact, patriotism really is about being part of a group or a society. The United States government is a corporation, and they've put certain controls over your human vessel, like police power, when your parents unwittingly registered you and every other human in the United States into enslavement with this corporation. So as patriotism is defined by me, it would be a group of people working together with one common goal, patriots for an outcome. And I think if you want to be a patriot with me on my journey, then your ultimate goal would be sovereignty, so that this kind of thing becomes a moot point, because we really, when everyone follows the steps in the Second Coming of the Messiah series, the Bible Part 2, which is already now published and controversial, but I wrote it as a sequel to the Bible. We can all act together, collapse the global military-industrial complex, and get rid of the monetary system. So no war and no stress induced by lack of money and profit and jobs and homelessness and all of the things that the monetary system is causing on this planet, such as the disintegration of our ozone, which is causing the polar caps to melt, which is going to result in possibly a huge methane gas release that could extinguish life on Earth like that. Okay, so number 4 was during World War II, the government called for Americans to pay income tax as a support for the war effort. Patriotically, a large number of citizens complied. And remember, everything comply really means to volunteer. You know, you're doing what they tell you, you're complying, you're volunteering yourself under their will. So when you give up your own will for somebody else's will, you're complying. Do you really want to comply with a lot of the things that you're being asked to comply with, like poverty, slavery, having your car towed, having your vessel hauled off to jail, having your house repossessed, taken from you, and having you put out onto the street like thousands of Americans right now? Number 5, the Internal Revenue Code grew to more than 3 million words. A wage withholding program was instituted, and thousands of professionals now help Americans prepare that their tax returns. The Internal Revenue Code grew to more than 3 million words. A wage withholding program was instituted, and thousands of professionals now help Americans prepare their tax returns. Wage withholding. So you go to work, you work 40 hours a week, but the federal government has instituted a program where they take some of your wage and they keep it from you and they take it, so you're working for them. Number 6, each year millions of W-2 and 1099 reports are issued for wages or non-employee compensation by payers who do not understand that these forms are intended for federal entities making federally connected payments. W-2 and 1099 forms serve as legal testimony and, without rebuttal, make the named individual liable for an income tax. So you're basically stating by volunteering this information that you're going to pay this. It's voluntary. Don't fill out the W-2. Don't fill out the 1099. Don't even communicate with the IRS. Remember, they are citizens of the United States working for a foreign power. So I'm going to read number 6 again. Each year, millions of W-2 and 1099 reports are issued for wages or non-employee compensation by payers who do not understand that these forms are intended for federal entities making federally connected payments. W-2 and 1099 forms serve as legal testimony and, without rebuttal, make the named individual liable for an income tax. Number 7, the Form 1040 U.S. Individual Income Tax Return is intended as a way for individuals to connect information. Okay, I'm going to read this again. Number 7, the Form 1040 U.S. Individual Income Tax Return. Number 7, the Form 1040 U.S. Individual Tax Return. Okay, number 7, the Form. Okay, so now, here's number 7. The Form 1040 U.S. Individual Income Tax Return is intended as a way for individuals to correct information, testimony made about them by others. Americans have until April 15th of each year to correct their record. Not filing a tax return waives your right to properly report your income. So that's what the 1040 is for. It's really to correct. So that's what the 1040 is for. It's really to correct the record. Number 8, while Congress cannot take your money directly, it has created a tax code that is convoluted enough to deceive most people. Income, wages, employee, employer, and trade of business are specifically defined in the code, yet most of us interpret these words in a common or everyday way. So let me read that again. While Congress cannot take your money directly, they can't just come and take it from you directly, it has created a tax code that is convoluted enough to deceive most people. Income, wages, employee, employer, and trade or business are all specifically defined in the code, yet most of us interpret these words in a common or everyday way. Number 9, once a return 1040 form is filed, it is legally valid and answers the question of whether or not you were engaged in taxable activities for that year. It is the means provided by the law for you to set the record straight. Once a return 1040 form is filed, it is legally valid and answers the question of whether or not you were engaged in taxable activities for that year. It is the means provided by law for you to set the record straight. 10. The U.S. tax system is based
on individual self-assessment and voluntary compliance. Individual self-assessment and voluntary compliance. The government will accept your money unless you inform it every year that you are entitled to non-payment or to a refund of what you have paid. The U.S. tax system is based on individual self-assessment and voluntary compliance. Voluntary. The government will accept your money unless you inform it every year that you are entitled to non-payment or to a refund of whatever you have paid. I'm not making that up. Can you read that? I'll just go slow. And that's 1 through 10. Now there's a backside to this, and I'll read it to you. Read you that. And then we'll go to commercial. Most Americans are woefully uninformed about the nature of who is to pay income tax. Reporting income and deducting expenses is the only relief available to many, even with the help of trained professionals, all of whom operate under the same misconceptions, common misunderstandings. There is no law that says I have to pay income tax. That's a misunderstanding. The 16th Amendment was never ratified. That's a misunderstanding. Filing a tax return makes me part of the system. It's better to pay my taxes and stay out of trouble. Fact, only a certain kind of income is taxable. See, that's what I just read right there. The U.S. Constitution denies the government the right to tax a person's exercise of the fundamental individual right to work or the U.S. Constitution denies the government the right to tax a person's exercise of the fundamental individual right to work. Although many people believe the income tax is unconstitutional, they do not understand how the imposition of this tax has become legal. The good news is that the Internal Revenue Code provides you a way to declare your freedom from income tax each and every year. Join thousands of Americans who have unchained themselves from a previous system that feed on their ignorance. Get a refund of all taxes withheld, even deductions for Social Security, Medicare, and disability. Amend your past year's returns and collect refunds plus interest. This is 100% legal and legitimate. Find out the truth. The IRS doesn't want you to know. Free consultation. Request more info at irscansuckit@gmail.com. It's your money. Get it all back legally. irscansuckit@gmail.com. I'm going to email them, see what they say. Now, before we go to commercial, I want to talk to you about sugar and high fructose corn syrup. Here in northern Mexico, or what we call California, and remember it was Mexico until white people came in and just killed everybody. Killed the Native Americans and set up casinos to hook them on alcohol and gambling. And I guess we basically did the same thing to the Mexicans. However, I love the Mexicans. I play Mexican baseball in the Mexican League. Mexico numero uno. Anyway, there's something here called Mexican Coca-Cola in California, which is Coca-Cola that comes in a glass bottle and is made in Mexico. Everywhere else, you buy Coca-Cola that comes in a bottle, a plastic bottle. This Mexican Coca-Cola, right here, see the metal top, you have to open it up. Hear that? That's glass.
that this Coca-Cola comes in a glass bottle. It's Mexican Coke. Now, the primary ingredient in this is sugar. All over the United States, the Coca-Cola that comes in the plastic bottles, it's not using sugar. It's high fructose corn syrup. In fact, sugar is being pulled out of everything, and high fructose corn syrup is being used. And that's killing people, causing problems, making people sick and diseased. And there's another thing called natural flavors. And I believe that's Coca-Cola's secret recipe, but natural flavors is a term that is being used by the Food and Drug Administration, I think, to be a blanket term that they can put anything they want in without having to explain to you, the people who are ingesting this garbage, that you're being poisoned by a number of chemicals. So this is the Mexican Coca-Cola, and here is the, right here is the ingredients label. Right there. See that? And look, it's really loosely put on there too. Like it was just slapped on in Mexico. They get the bottles made with the sugar. They probably got the old ones that comes from the Coca-Cola bottling plant. It goes to Mexico. They stick this label on there. You can see it's not put on there very well. It's not even real. And see, here's something in Spanish. What does it say? Base exclusivo para refresco. 2002, the Coca-Cola company, hecho en Mexico. So this is made in Mexico, and this is from 2002. So they must have thousands and millions of these glass bottles that are using sugar. And I bet one day these aren't even going to exist. Let me read the ingredients. Contains carbonated water, sugar, caramel color, phosphoric acid, natural flavors, caffeine. So natural flavors is that blanket statement that covers the proprietary, and they're used, I guess, proprietary ingredients list that Coca-Cola won't tell you. Same thing with cigarettes. They won't put it out there what they're actually really selling you because it's poison, and they let the law keep that information from you, so you have no idea what you're putting in your body. That's causing 3 out of 4 Americans these days to get cancer. Remember, it used to be 1 out of 4, or 1 out of 10 people got cancer, and that was a big deal. Now, everybody's getting cancer. Didn't Angelina Jolie just cut her own breasts off so she wouldn't get cancer? Even she doesn't know how to keep from getting cancer, and she's supposed to be some powerful, elite entertainment professional, but the system doesn't care about those little people. They're just marketing people to sell you more stuff in their movie. These big companies need to be stopped, really, and they can be stopped by everybody disenrolling from the government, corporations, tearing up their national ID card, reversing the trust on their life certificate of birth, getting their life certificate of birth back, or creating one and turning in the birth certificate, so now you have title to your body. Get back your manufacturer's statement of origin, and get the grant deeds to your properties, and then burn all of your money in the street, and don't turn on the TV and news anymore, and don't listen to someone in a uniform pointing a gun at you telling you have to do this or that. Those guys are acting on behalf of the United States corporation, which will go defunct and out of business once everybody tears up their national ID card and says, screw you, we're not going to take it anymore. Alright, thanks for watching The Ronald Show. Documenting the collapse of life as we know it is perpetrated by the global military-industrial complex and teaching you how to be a creditor in commerce. Peace.
Have you ever wanted to write a book? Have you ever wanted to write a screenplay? Have you ever wanted to have your great movie idea turned into a screenplay, turned into a movie, turned into a book, and distributed all over the world? Well, now you can learn how to do it with the great new book by Ronald Farnham, How to Write a Screenplay in 30 Days or Less. It includes the logline, theme, synopsis, outline, and screenplay of the 3 magic questions. Learn how to write a screenplay in 30 days or less, or your money back. Get it today at Amazon or Barnes & Noble.
No, there you go.
What are we filming?
We're filming this party. Hey, welcome to the Ronald Show. It is, what's today's date?
Sunday the 26th.
It's Sunday, June 24th, 2012, and we are in North Hollywood, California, with all these extras that we work on Hollywood film sets. Oh, no. But we have a bunch of different people. Look at this is Margarita.
Principal, what do you
Sometimes I do extra work, but I'm a principal.
See, and there's no barriers here in Hollywood. Everyone is just crazy. Here, Sayari, you say hi to the world. We were just talking about. She has an idea. What's your idea? Worst moments on a film set?
Well, yeah, because
Come here. This is your close-up.
This is your moment. This is your moment.
It's the Ronald show.
Yeah, Sayari, this like happens
I don't care
now.
about her moment, but I'm having this, and this is good. Ow.
It's a party. It's a party. Here, Scott DuPont.
Tomorrow.
Scott DuPont grew up in a castle in New Jersey. And yeah.
And I'm still drinking.
Jersey boy.
I'm still drinking that fine wine from the castle. This is a 1782 Malbec. If we can have the bottle, please. It's right over there. And what's really special about this wine is this is actually Sutter Home, and this is from 1987. But anyway, all the wine is all good. We're here at Magnolia Village Studios, and our host is over here. Lisa, if you come over here. The host.
Not do camera.
Oh, that's right. She doesn't do camera. Her better half.
Margarita?
Does camera.
Margarita.
She's hiding.
I think Margarita, you would actually be a perfect substitute camera host.
Oh, I'm eating. Excuse me.
Yeah. This is all, and really, it's all about food. It's food. We eat. Are we always
that
eating
looks like
or
I'm
what?
eating. He always has what I'm in.
So Sayari, who doesn't want to be on camera, she was like, hey, because we were just telling stories that we've all been drinking, so we're all pretty much drunk, and we've been telling stories about... Really? Oh, yeah, Margarita. We'll have another drink. Yeah, I can't wait to see you drunk. Oh, but you're leaving soon, too, aren't you? Well, I wish you could stay and get drunk.
Well, we'll tune back in for 2
Especially
hours
with
for
the
that
camera.
episode. But with all this food here, we should definitely get a sponsor from the Food Network. And let alone some of the beverage companies.
Yeah, and this is Hans's. Hans decided to have a party this weekend, and then we wound up all getting booked on a T-Mobile commercial. So the party was supposed to be last night, so we invited everybody to come back tonight. So we've actually been partying and eating and drinking for 2 days now, and working on a T-Mobile commercial. So all of us drunk people, and you'll see a bunch of Volvo. We got limousine drivers here. It's just a party. It's a party. Life's a party in California. But we were talking about telling stories about worst moments on set. Yeah, come here.
Not scary stories.
What's your name?
I'm Bruce Richmond Chambers.
Bruce Richmond Chambers from what, Australia?
Burbank.
Oh, really? Burbank. Wow. So that's the Burbank accent. That's the Burbank accent. It sounds strangely Australian. So, wait, come here.
I don't live there. I haven't lived there since 1983.
Oh, so
I do not have an Australian passport.
So tell us a story about like a bad time you had on set, like as an extra, because a lot of us do a lot of extra works in all the feature films that you're watching, TV shows you're watching, like Rizzoli and Isles, Atlas Shrugged 2, the movie that was just done, Batman, The Gangster Squad starring Josh Brolin and Sean Penn, and we all were Ryan Gosling. We've all been like, we're all there in the major scenes, and we're all in those scenes, and we're just backs and heads and feet and elbows and shadows and jackets in the background, but all of us are actually working like diligently every day doing all of this extra work. So we got like, Bruce, how long have you been doing extra work?
5 years.
5 years.
Full time.
Full time. So that's 4 or 5 days a week on what? Film sets, TV commercials, TV shows?
Yeah, sometimes it's principal.
What TV shows have you worked on? Like this year?
Oh, sorry.
What haven't you worked on?
Yeah. No, just
No, that's a better hand question.
Yeah, I've worked on Chuck. I've worked on American Teenager. I've worked on Switched at Birth. That's terrible. I've worked on all. I can't remember what else.
Have you done Mad Men?
Yeah, I was season stand-in on Mad Men.
Oh, stand-in on Mad Men.
Yeah.
For who? Who'd you stand in for?
The guy committed suicide.
Oh, really? Well,
so you're not standing in anymore?
No.
No. His character got killed. Yeah, that's not good as a stand-in when your character's not on the show anymore. So.
I was head of the United States Air Force in Transformers 3.
Oh, head of the United States Air Force in Transformers 3.
Working with Michael Bay.
What's your name again? Yeah, work with Michael Bay, the director. Say your full name again.
Bruce Richmond Chambers.
Bruce Richmond Chambers. See, look at this guy. So, all of us are all like hanging out and partying in Hollywood, California. We're in North Hollywood. Who's your favorite director that you've worked with?
Favorite director I've worked with? No, it is definitely last. James Bobman on the Muppet movie.
James Bobman on the Muppet movie. Which Muppet movie was that?
The last Muppet movie. I was my scene actually was cut out. I did a scene with Chris Cooper, and I was the Texas oil millionaire who was actually buying Muppet Theatre.
Wow.
Hoping that they changed the end of the movie. Unfortunately, my scene got cut out. So that was great working with Chris Cooper. He was my favorite actor. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That must have. So that's probably your favorite on-set moment, huh? Chris Cooper, working on him in that.
I've had a lot.
Have you ever worked with Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
What'd you work on Clint Eastwood with?
The Changeling.
Oh, The Changeling. I haven't seen that yet, but I will.
J. Edgar.
Oh, J. Edgar.
The funny thing about him is instead of the usual action, he always says, well, whenever you're ready, guys. And then at the end of the scene, he doesn't say cut, he says, okay.
Really? That's it? He's just real. Well, who is that?
And I hear one or two takes. Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, 3 takes. But he uses the best people. You know, the people he uses know they get it the first time.
Oh yeah.
But he claims the actors are worn out.
You know, that's the thing out here in Hollywood. I've worked on all the same sets. We've all worked on the same with major movie stars, TV stars, and each of them, they nail their scene every time. They come in and they might even give like a little tweak to the character or the lines, but every time they're like boom, boom, boom. And when they do mess up, it's like kind of funny, and they get through it, and they just like power through their scenes.
Yeah,
really.
But they have bad days like all of us, you know. Sometimes they don't get it.
Have you ever seen any major goof ups on set, like by the name actor?
Nothing that I would actually say on a video recording.
Yeah. You can get blackballed in this industry. We've had people. I've seen people thrown off set
really easily.
Yeah, and that's true. That whole blackballing thing. I've seen people thrown off set and told you will never, ever work in this town again, and it's true because it's a studio producer that was telling them that.
It's a small community.
Yeah, it's a really small community. So
I got a good Tom Hanks story.
Oh really?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, tell me your Tom Hanks story.
I should put a C on it.
So here's the Tom Hanks story I wanted to share. I was working on a HBO miniseries. You might remember this, called From the Earth to the Moon.
Oh yeah.
It was right around the time that Apollo 13 was shooting, and he brought HBO into Orlando. They're shooting between the Kennedy Space Center and Universal Studios and MGM Studios.
What year was that?
This would have been like 1995 or something like that.
Wow.
Quite a while ago. Anyway, Tom Hanks was the executive producer on set, and I was there one day. It was a very, very small call. There were about 6 or 7 of us. Tom Hanks was there on set, and in holding there was an older gentleman. I would say older, like 80 or 85 years old. I mean, he was definitely up there, and it was getting late at night. It was about 10:30 at night. I don't know where you're from. And Tom Hanks walks in the soundstage, and he goes up to one of the crew guys. He goes, "Hey, what's going on with that older gentleman over there?" And he said, "Oh, I think he's like really worried about his wife. He doesn't know how much longer he's going to be. You know, here's like an 80-year-old guy. His wife's probably 80 or 85. She's at home alone, and he's getting tired. So Tom walks over to this older gentleman who was actually an extra on the set. He goes, "Hi, I'm Tom." And he goes, his name was Harold. "Hey, Harold, how you doing? Hey, I just want to check in, make sure you're doing okay. Everything okay?" "Oh, no, I'm okay. I was just curious. You know, my wife's at home alone, and just wondering how much longer we're going to go." Because at that point, we had already been shooting about 12 or 13 hours.
Right,
so a pretty long day.
Yeah, long days on set. Long
days.
days.
You know, here's an 80-plus-year-old guy.
Nearly as long as your story.
Most of us work 5 p.m. to 5 a.m.
It's got a great ending here. Okay.
And I'm letting him go because it's Tom Hanks,
So
A-list story. And this is why guys like Tom Hanks are A-listers.
Goes
They
to
care
this
about
guy, Harold. He goes, "Harold, can I borrow your phone?" So he hands, and this is a flip phone.
Cool.
And he goes, "Harold, what's your number?" Dialing the phone. And what's your wife's name? Okay. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Tom Hanks. How are, yeah, I'm actually here with Harold right now. He says hello. Hey, listen, I just wanted to ask your permission if we can go for about 30 minutes, 1 more hour tops, and then we're gonna send Harold home. Yeah, we're just on the last scene. Okay. Okay, you have a good one too. Bye bye. Okay. So what was cool? I'm hanging
That's hilarious.
I'm hanging right next to Tom Hanks when he's doing. There's 6 of us. Okay.
Right.
All of a sudden, he fixes a major problem. You got this old guy that's tired. His wife's really worried. Okay. It was just cool as shit for all of us. Like, hey, Tom Hanks is the coolest guy in the
And
world.
they need that guy for continuity in the scene. Like at a certain point where you're using specific people and you have to line up a specific scene, and they've got this old guy in the scene whose back of the head they're using as like over someone's shoulder. Now he's got to go, but nobody else has a big gray head. You know what I mean, right?
And
this
the other
beat.
problem he fixes is the crew that had been working a 15 or 16 hour day because they were there setting up this particular stage. All of a sudden their energy level went through the roof. It's like, oh, this is so cool. So anyway, it was a happy ending to that long day of shooting.
Yeah.
Thanks to Tom Hanks. Hope to work with you again, buddy.
Yeah, Tom Hanks. All right, cool. Thanks for watching the Ronald Show. We're gonna eat more and get drunker, and then maybe we'll come back. I don't know when I'll see you guys again. All right, peace out.
It's the Ronald Show, starring Ronald, documenting the collapse of life as we know it, as perpetrated by the global military-industrial complex. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Ronald Show, Ronald.